Alright, I got that much done. And find out how this Dino does. Just getting the screen set up. And I just posted a video for the Barcelona top 2% from yesterday. Y'all should check that out when you get a chance. It's only 2.5 minutes long. You'll be fine. Let's see here. Although I've noticed my videos don't get nearly the views that my live stream gets, which is just odd. You would think you'd get more views on actual videos than live. But that's YouTube for you. I ain't gonna argue with it. It do what it do. Let me just get the sharing done. Tell everybody, it takes 2 seconds. You can share on your Facebook to all your friends and let them know that you're watching some crazy dude drift who's really, really bad. But don't tell them I'm bad. Just let them discover that on their own. I said, if you don't like my stream, share it with others. Make them suffer along with you. I believe the Dino's a Ferrari, right? I believe so. Trying to. I learned that the Facebook posts do better if you actually put something at the top instead of just hitting share and then next. Even if it doesn't make sense, as long as you put something on there, it kind of hits everybody's little algorithm a little better. Alright. And I am absolutely loving the way that GT turned out right there. She turned out very pretty. Very, very pretty. Anyway, most of those stickers are somebody else's. I might have thrown 1 or 2 of mine in there, but for the most part, those are on mine from the search. And then I just did a little stretching, matching, and make things line up at least a little bit. One of these days I could get around to painting that Beamer from yesterday. Let's take a look here. I believe she's a D-class car. Hey, we're already in Ferrari. Look at that. I made it easier. With an Enzo. The Maranello was a blast. I need to paint that one too. Learning a little bit about drifting mid-engine cars. 288. We finally got that thing doing what we wanted. Had to put a ton more camber in the rear to get these mid-engine cars to do the drift. I do not know how well this one's going to do. This was one of my nemesis cars in Gran Turismo. So hard to get it to do anything without just doing donuts. Never did get it drift tuned in that game. Hey, I got $3,000 available. Let's see here. She's naturally aspirated currently. Now we already know that we're not going to leave her that way. So let's see what the conversion's got for us. Twin turbos off the block. Or we could toss that 3.7 V6. I do believe that's got a supercharge option. Inline 4 turboed. Inline 5. What the hell? That's a thing? Anyway, the 3.0 V8 is going to be the first V8 option, and then there's going to be a V10. Oh wait, 4.5 V8 and a V6 twin turbo. No V10, V12 for this car. But I think the 3.7 V6, and I can afford it. Let's see what we got for aspiration choices. Good old positive displacement supercharger. I like it because its power range is even. You're getting all of it from the moment you get the pedal down. Don't like the twin turbos because of the turbo lag, although I do have a few cars that the twin turbos worked out. The centrifugal, it's just a big turbo. They can call it a supercharger if they want to. I don't care for it at all because it has to wind up. And I mean, once you get that power, if you can keep it in the RPM range where it belongs, but ooh, you got to get it there first. So we've now got 340 horsepower, or 340 torques. I don't really look at the horsepower. I like it when my torque is higher than that. We got a 41 to 59 weight distribution. We can probably take care of that. Let's make sure. All right, we got an extra $1,000 sitting right there in tires. Now we can just spend some money. First thing we've got to do, make sure we got the drift suspension. Oh look, tunable roll bars. $700 for the first one. We're just going to go full out race suspension. That gets us to a 4357 weight distributed, 0.18 power ratio. Let's put some wheels on it. No, wheels are going to have to come last. Drivetrain. I always like to toss the sport diff on there. Some of these older cars, the original diff is it's not great. I got $50 left, which means I can toss a flywheel, maybe valves. I think we'll just go ahead and continue with our theme of let's take the weight out of it. Alright. Confirmed. We should be able to just hit free play drift on this one and tune it from there. We're going to need a little more pressure in the front. I like to keep them around 30. Oh, come on, you little touchy. And yet I still continue to use this little POV, I'm going to call it a nipple. It's a little joystick on my steering wheel. It's terrible to navigate with it. It does not agree with me much. Alright, we got a transmission in it. Good lord. Look at that gearing. We're going to have to take it out on the track and find out. This thing is, I do believe, mid-engine. That would explain why we're so heavy in the rear. So we're going to go up to like 2.6 to start. May end up at 3 eventually. You want to, got a 0.7 there. And this is just a kind of my default, you might say. Soften that up quite a bit. We'll leave that alone for now. I tend to stay softer in the front, springy in the rear. The higher you turn this, the more it's going to affect the front because of the way suspensions work. If you stiffen the rear, it's going to stiffen up the front for you. Listen here, you little jerk. Feels like not enough. Hey now, I could just use the keyboard, I know. But, ride height. The ride height is funky. You're going to have to be careful dropping this one, I think. Drop them too far and the wheels start meeting the fender. That's good where it's at. Let's just turn this up to about 18 or so. That was way more than we wanted. That'll do. Everyone's a little bit different. I'm going to take this down to like 44. Our brakes need to be down around 50. We'll go 50 to start. We're not going to play with that. Force feedback scale, all that stuff is good. Would you like to? No. We just want to go through all that and then change nothing. I find free play drift makes enough cash to do what we need to do. We should be able to drift it, and if not, well, go to the rivals and put the race suspension back under it. I always like to start with a feel-good kind of track. So Grand Oak, I'll let it pick which one. I've been doing the mist, thin haze, because I don't like the sun. It hurts my eyes. Hey, not patchy fog, man. Thin haze. There we go. 12 to 15 minutes per lap. We may change that later. The longer you make that, the more likely it is to put you on a really big track. So we don't want that. This Dino is going to be interesting. I can say that much. All of the mid-engine Ferraris have been a different kind of drive, and I think this thing's mid-engine. I could be wrong. I don't know my cars for crap. I'm a driver. It's about all I'm good at is drifting. I should probably start doing a little research, know a little thing about the cars that we drive, but that sure looks like a mid-engine hood back there, or trunk lid. And like I said, she's heavy in the rear, so that kind of makes me think, got a mid-engine, right? Probably not the most intelligent bit. We need that turned on so I can see you people not talking to me. I do try to pay attention to the chat, but my responses will probably come when I'm not driving, unless I'm really in the zone, and then I tend not to look at the chat. I just come out, buy my shit, get back out on track. Pardon my language. I'm a little rough around the edges. I'm one of them oil field trash people. We tend not to pay attention to what we say most of the time. Got to admit, it's a sharp, funky looking car. I feel like Ferrari wanted to be Porsche for a little bit. I'm gonna have to change those rims. I don't like the knockoffs. Like something with a good old bolt pattern on it. And lighter wheels will, do not help out in the long run for the power weight. Hopefully this ain't one of those cars where I gotta break out ballast. We're gonna find out, like right now. And she's probably not gonna drift real good, and this will be more like laps where the car goes straight. Well, I'm gonna have to glue that down again. Anybody else have issues with the covers coming off of their steering wheels? It's a Sparko wheel for Thrustmaster. Oh wow. That was unexpected. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to lengthen up the transmission a little bit. I need more third gear. Ooh, she's going around. I didn't put any music on. It's alright. Camber in the rear, and the front needs to probably go to like 4.5. I feel like that was robbery. Of course, I would have lost it the rest of the way around the corner, but still. Why you gotta treat me like that, man? Definitely. We gotta be feathery with the throttle, or I'm gonna have to make that transmission. Which I kind of figured when I seen the ratio was like 5.1. May have to take some camber out of the rear actually. Definitely need a little more power. I don't know if it needs another level of supercharging. Probably just buy all the motor parts. But I really don't like how short the transmission is. Seeing a 5-speed. Yeah, let's go make some adjustments. Tires are good and hot after that. They should be. Any credits and earned XP will be saved. We might have earned $100 if we're lucky. Oh, wrong button. Nope, we didn't make anything. That's fine. We're gonna drop you down some. Excuse me. Just had me some, I guess we might call it jambalaya for dinner. I don't know, it had the jambalaya mix with the rice in it from Zatarain's, but made it with sausage and shrimp and put a container of bueno red chili in it. Some okra and corn and potatoes, and let it cook till it got real thick and the potatoes were soft, and by God, it was delicious. And of course, some herbs and spices, lots of salt, because I'm one of those people. I don't go too far down. All right, there should be good. We'll try her at 3. See how that works out. If I got somebody in the room, remind me when we're done. I'll go through all the pages so y'all can tune it the same way, or pay attention as we go, because I do tend to forget. Take screenshots, that's what I tell everybody. Especially when I do the initial tune, because that's usually a good, happy starting point where you can start there and kind of work your way either direction depending on what the car does. Seems to work on most cars. This setup mostly for mid-engine. I go much more around the 1.5 range in rear cambers for front engine rear wheel drives, and I don't drift tune front and rear, so yeah, my brain doesn't work that way. The wrong tire is spinning. Which means you got to drift with the e-brake, which I just recently started using my e-brake more. I had been setting my brakes up to where my regular brake pedal was essentially locking up the rear, but it just didn't seem to work quite as well. It was a sweet sounding car. do use my regular brake, but it's more for getting the car down to the right speed so we don't go off the track. But from the feel of things, this thing's going to be pretty sweet. Once I get the power right, transmission set up right, get her to hold drift a little better. now she's kind of just back and forth, trying to find her. All mid-engine's got that point of no return. Go too far sideways, you're spinning it out. Something to do with that heavy motor in the rear. It's another reason I kind of like the V6 a little better. Not as heavy as the big old bulky V8. I know most people's immediate instinct is to go to the big old V8 full power, but every car is a little different. And that V8 might put too much into this thing. Well, nothing good comes from having too much weight in the ass. I guess you're an only fan. Guys seem to like that, but that's a whole different subject. Should have held that. Found it? No. Good job, little Dino. You did a bone. I need to paint this thing purple. I'm sure I'm not the first person to have that thought. In fact, if there isn't a Flintstones paint job in the user mates, I'll be very surprised. Oh, robbed. Definitely gonna need more juice. The more I can get them rear wheel turning, believe it or not, the better control you'll have over the car. I know, feels like that it shouldn't be that way. Them tires get spinning, they get hot, they get a little sticky, and then they hold. Careful with that real brake pedal. Yep. She said, no, we're not going that way. One of these days I'll learn how to heel toe. I reckon stay in the gas a little bit. For now, we're just stuck with my inadequate driving skills. have me a new lover as far as this car goes. Starting to think I might be polyamorous towards vehicles. I'm in love with every car I drift that does this so well, and I've done very little tuning, and she's already starting to show signs that she's going to be a record breaker. We just need more juice. And a lot of these Ferraris have kind of surprised me as far as how good they drift. Oh, that was a mistake. Poor little Dino got embarrassed. I was talking all good about it. Put a message down in the chat box. I'll have to do that after I finish this. Well, that could have turned out badly. We are way out on the line, but she's still ticking away points, so I guess we can be happy with it. Gotta keep her drifting for another 40 seconds. Well done, little Dino. Well done. She drives actually pretty good for the very little I've done to her. Very little. I've swapped the motor, put a supercharger in. Suspension's built. You got all the drivetrain. You've done a ton. But I haven't done but 2 little tunings on her. That is a funky car. Definitely needs. I'm not drifting Daytona. She'll never make it around that curve. We'll have to do the back and forths, and then we'll probably spin out. But oh well. Alright, give me a few seconds to do some maintenance. Got a 1% drop rate, but some of that's probably due to I left my preview on. And we don't need it. I got 2 other screens showing me a nice preview. And from the looks of things, the stream looks alright. There are days when I think I'm dyslexic. Do that, and we're good to go. Now there's a message out there. I'd like some music, but man, my brain is just not sure what sounds good today. Any recommendations from y'all would be welcome. As long as it doesn't have dirty titles. I try to skip them dirty title ones. Fresh start, you say? I've seen an awful lot of Rancid in there. How long's this list? 2 hours and 13 minutes. Sure, why not? Shuffle play. Bowling for soup. Mm-hmm. .208. Man, we're getting up there. That's nice. We'll get it up around .3 by the time we're done, I'm sure. Alright, the suspension feels okay, so we're not going to mess with it just yet. But we are going to drop this one down some more. I'd like to stay in third gear a little bit longer. 410, 410. God dang fireproof cigarettes, what the heck? She's definitely going to be worthy of a paint job, I'm pretty sure. Because she does do the drift, and that's how I identify my drift cars. I throw paint on them. And then when I go sorting through, I remember that, hey, that car does the drift. We'll start here in just a second. Just will me only just one time. What's gonna happen tonight? Best drift 11. That'll do. See if we can hang on to that. joke, man. I don't want to stay at 11. Well, that point of no return got shorter. Get the tires nice and warm. That'll help. I have to stiffen up the front end a little bit. And get them tires to bite a little better. Days. I'm gonna find a car that can just make this. I'll figure out the tune that does it anyway. Oh, too much brake. Gotta start bringing the speed down a little bit before I hit that corner. I think I might have to put that next level supercharger in here. I was talking about I'm going too fast. Let's put a bigger supercharger in it. That transmission down around a 3.5 gear ratio and enough power to push all 5 gears. So you don't see me do very many C-class cars because they just don't have the juice. Well, we're gonna finish with that 11. Wave at everybody. Oh, that was too much. Everything about this car. Losing the drift in this curve is just gonna do that. really judge the car very well. If it's the car or the Trek that's causing the issues. This Trek. Alright, obviously we've cooked our front tires. That sound was not good. Well, at least we ain't gonna finish with 11. I'm gonna have to change this station. Carry all the way to this corner. But we ain't got time for that. 20 seconds we ain't clearing that corner again. Should be nice to beat 52, but I don't think we're doing that either. Been trying to remember the name of this band forever. This music would come into my head and then it would give me the wrong name. 1983. Got a bloody knee on a skateboard. Now it's me like in the backyard that Tuesday night. Love-hate relationship with this track. We either do well or we can't drift it at all. Let's see which one we are today. There's Sonny Rainbow, he's driving fast cause he never did a thing slow. Big bro. All the ladies grabbed his hand and couldn't let go. Dear. Along. Got the problem. Can't afford the next supercharger, I'm sure of that. We could, actually. We'll just take this intercooler off. I want that extra juice. Need that acceleration. Nowhere, pink tux to the prom. Much. Definitely too much. Be more careful going into fourth gear. Gotta watch out for them curbs. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I need more power. Too much. Got too high. over braking like a... all kinds of bad words. All kinds of bad words. Wasn't pretty, but at least we made it around it. Too much. I'm hugging you, be my escape. Ooh, another driver level that we don't care about. Boy, it really wants me to drift Daytona. Ew. I spent 2 hours on this track last night. I'm now top 2% drifting it though on the Rivals leaderboard, so it only took like 11 laps or something. Oh my. Oh, instant heartburn just thinking about this track. We need parts, sir. We need parts. I hate that it goes back to that when I click on something. I want to see what my torques are. 431, 460. Still 43.57 on distribution. That is all of my cash though. And I feel like I can spend the money in better ways. But look at that, 461. Need a little bit of a smoke break for a second. Do a little stretch. Oh, the body's not as young as I'd like it to be. Oh, woke up this morning and my left wrist wouldn't bend. It was a whole different situation. Arthritis. Gotta love it. And I ain't even that old yet. Where's my juice at? There she is. We can stay for a while. A friend gone. We can just pretend. If we know introduction. But darling, where do we begin? Your crotch is like the devil got you. My YouTube algorithm probably hates me. When I listen to my super mix, man, it is all over the place. But when my ADHD kicks in, I get bored with one kind of music. I gotta have a diverse little Frank Sinatra mixed in with some George Strait, Pantera, and Metallica. Well, not as much Metallica as I used to listen to, but a little bit. I like their older stuff. A few things off the Death Magnetic album, but if they got a newer one than that, I haven't listened to it yet. I'm one of them weird people. I like to load and reload. The unpopular opinion. Off we go. Enough procrastination. Let's see if she takes off in second gear. Don't want to glue this corner. Tempted to bank what I got. This corner's such a thief. Yeah, it's not far away. I'm surprised it didn't bank as long as I went straight for it. Now it did. Oh, this ain't the track I thought it was. Got the longer corner. I was expecting to follow where those red cones were. We should study the map first, sir. Ooh, that was too much. Thought I was past the point where it would take them away. I was wrong. I think I might take some of that camber out of the rear. Either that or maybe change the tire pressure some. Maybe drop it a corner or so. She feels weird. Rather bank it than lose it. a handful. I'll give you that. But man, when she's on, she's on. Too much e-brake. Okay, okay. You're alright, you're alright. Dino. We got a minute 55 to beat 89 grand. We're not gonna do it. Nope. Touch the grass. We ain't here for the points. She's a freaking handful. That's all I got to say. Don't lose concentration while driving car. Bob the Drifter's been around. He's telling me to shut up and drive. Sweaty in here. Curb's not your friend, Chris. Oh no, we'll get away from it. Whew. I need to keep a towel over here. My hands are sweaty. Angels and airwaves. I ain't heard none of this in a minute. Good Lord, it wants me to riff Daytona, and I'm like, no, cut it out. I ain't going back to Sunset either. Jeeves. Well, at least it's not Daytona, or Daytona-ish, I guess. But it's a really hard track. Lots of weight transfer. need more power so I can open up that transmission. Got enough for the next supercharger if I'm crazy. Finish up the intercooler. It's going to change our power to weight, I'll bet. 44.56. We're a little heavier in the front than we were, because that intercooler goes up front where the radiator is. That makes sense. A little heavier in the front now. That might help. That might help. What do we got that's $50? Oil and cooling. That also goes in the front, if I remember right. Yeah, we'll go with it. We're going to try putting this down around 37. I don't think we want to go much further than that. We're still gaining acceleration on the left. As long as it's staying green over there. 0 to 100's 8 seconds. 60 under 4 seconds. Nice. We'll try it there. You never know just how the story ends, how the story goes. More liquids. All right. We'll find out if we made a mistake. We're going to try to take off in third gear. Brake. We survived it. Left turn, 5. Not quite there for fifth gear. Rats. Panicked. Oh, that touch of second gear was a bad idea. Skateboard. You just got to sketch it a bit so you can bring it down to smooth on the way down the hill. Weight transfer.
fourth gear was a bad idea.
Should be alright. Don't get in the yellow. Lots of brakes. Too much brakes. Firewall. This little section right here is a blast. You got this 9-mile straightaway. I don't care for the straights.
Too much braking.
There's a weight transfer in that little area right there. See the hill? Softer dampers would probably help that out. Then we'd have to redo the springs. Here. Da-da-da. Angle. Came out of the low. Good Lord, me in this corner. I got time. I'll figure it out. Trying too hard to carry it. Get on the brake a little hair sooner. Not in it. Too much down. Scaredy foot going on. Only 3.5 minutes or so left. And then it'll try to throw me on Daytona again. Here for those chips. That's the point of no return. There's that tire wall again. One way to do it, I guess. Except I'm still in the grass. What the heck? It's getting worse. My brain already wants off this track. Over that hill right there in fourth gear, the outside rear tire catches traction and wants to spin me. Definitely needs a little bit less dampers in the rear. That way that weight transfer doesn't do weird things. Could be anti-roll bars as well. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I didn't even look to see what performance this thing's in. Probably S tier by now, I would think, or high A. I gotta stretch the legs and maybe move this little fan over here where it's actually touching me. 250. We're just still in A-class, so we could toss this thing at Grand Oak later if we wanted to. What do you think about a little more carburation? A little bigger piston, maybe? Nope, she's $200. Well, go ahead and get our last flywheel. It's time to take these knockoffs off. Boy, that's tempting. What's left? I like the solid look to it. Gives it a futuristic look. Yeah, we'll go with that. It also increased my performance by just a hair. We got to go even further with this transmission. Should be able to hit the 3.5 mark now. That's where I like it. Given the choice, I'd rather have the third gear than the fourth gear for a lot of things, but on this track we're going to be probably in fourth gear quite a bit. I need to make some adjustments. We're going to drop that back down to 4.3. I didn't intend to move that, but it'll be fine. We're going to drop this down to 6.2. This track don't have as much of the hills and whatnot, but it does have a little bit of elevation change. I have to go over there to that there monster box. My water's empty. After you wish that this was the truth. I'm shouting. Blue or pink? I think pink. Because satisfied. Oh. Alright. Away we go. Took off in third gear a minute ago. But we did lengthen the transmission. She may not take off in third again. Nope.
Too much.
We may have to put the racing diff on this thing. That was due to let off. The decel got me. Fifth here, we're going to need a little more juice. But I think fourth's just fine. It's just all about bad entry right there.
Too much.
where you've been at this whole time, Bob, but welcome back. I'll always tell when Bob the Drifter takes off in my brain. Let me do it a little more often, I guess. Okay. I'm loving the Dino again. Of course, that track is a make you feel good kind of track. Although there are cars that just absolutely hate that track. Like, they just refuse to drift on it. The Dino ain't one. Once I found the proper e-brake to brake ratio, wow. Oh, this track will make me violent. I really shouldn't do it. This car doesn't have the control. But it's gonna skip me to Daytona. Screw it. We're definitely gonna have to drop them dampers down under 6 probably. Probably like 5.9-ish. About this part of town. Last thing this thing needs is more power. So what do? We put more power. She's still A-class. I don't think I have enough. No. I believe we are max here. We still have exhausts, but once again, I don't think I have enough. $75, just not quite enough to get us an upgrade. Yeah. It's alright. That ain't what we wanted to do. Don't do that. That'll have to do for now. So here I am, doing my head. Procrastinating. %1 drop rate. That ain't too bad. We're going to have to take a short restroom break, and we'll be back in just a minute. Alright, we made it back. This is going to be bad. My way, steps were next to me, have gone their separate ways. Been enough to know the beautiful things don't always say that. Know this track very well. I tend to skip it. Gotta remember, we dropped the dampers, so we're gonna catch a grip if we're not careful. Track. There was a stutter right there. Graphical. Gonna be a downshift. We're just trying to survive. Too much left, not enough right. Got to keep her over 25 miles an hour and she'll keep on racking points. Oh, that was too much e-brake. Oh, Lord. We'll make another lap. Crap ton of power in this thing, so maybe not just slamming into the accelerator would be a good idea. Well, I felt the front end shift. That was weird. Too much. The downshift was a bad idea. Yep, you live, you learn. Maybe we'll make another lap, but I doubt it. Might get a quarter of a lap. Come on now. Take that dirt off the tires, little miss. is a workout. Woo! That track can make you sweat. Our lips can touch, our cheeks can brush, our lips can touch. Yeah. You're the one that loves me. This girl said now I missed you. Well, I was gonna stop, but mid-Ohio, man. Mid-Ohio. But really, don't think I should do what I'm about to do. But I got enough money to maybe fully juice this car now. Maybe. That's everything in this one. We're not going to quite make it on displacement. Maybe. Good Lord. Got a lot of horsepower. 569. I mean, I could put that and take my rims back off, or drop a level of flywheel. Just for now. One of these days I'll remember to come back and put on my last flywheel. But let's see what she does fully juiced out. Oh, that's pretty good. Let's drop her another point. I don't think the tires are hitting the fenders yet. Let's see what she looks like from a side view. Oh, that's another empty track of those. Well, she sure is close to touching. I'll bet she rubs when we turn. We're gonna find out. That's a heck of a start right there. Mostly my fault. I think we're touching. Let's get the tires hot and make sure it's not this bad driver. Probably. Bob the Drifter went to bed. I'm alone in my head right now. So that second gear downshift might be a problem. Definitely shouldn't have dropped it. Little bit of alteration. I want to put that back. Drop that up to 37. Drop that another 5. Where you at, spring rate? See that side view again. we increased the springs in the rear, which is pushing down on the front. Good Lord. So we increased our springs in the front just now. We'll try and compensate for that. Really need that side view. Gap's a little bigger. We're gonna find out. Hyper grippy in the front all of a sudden. Maybe we shouldn't have put that exhaust on. Off we go. Could be a heavy foot issue. See what she does when the tires are warm. Way touchy. Back online, little car. I think I got it. The front end does some weird snappy stuff. It's gone to going straight. For a little while. Drive something else or call it a nap. We may have reached the limit. Although I think I might have lengthened the transmission heat, but the power's coming in different. And not in a good different. Off we go. If you don't get that corner just right, you're in the grass. Dino. There you go. Lost all control. Wonder if that half a pound of air I put back in the tires maybe. That in combination with the transmission giving me power at a higher RPM. Really not kicking in until about 5K. I want to do some adjusting and try this track again. We're going to put our tires back and we're going to change the transmission just a hair. Back up to maybe 355, somewhere in there. We're going to put you back around 29, you at 36. How about now? Look at that thing. come wide on that corner in a while. You survive, I guess. I got a heavy foot. And the transmission's still a little long. See, babe. Yep, definitely heavy feet. Part of a day, the same day I go back to the Pantera. Work the kinks out too. Put them on fresh eyes, fresh mind. She just wants to be wide. Except for right there, she really wanted to go inside that time. Yeah, definitely time for a break. The body's giving up on the mind, so to speak. The mind ain't exactly sharp either. if there's anything wrong with the car other than the driver. But all of a sudden, she feels very much better. Who knows? Who knows? I think I got a fourth leg. My father must have watched for a little while. I'm trying to decide if I want to do another track. I'm thinking it's a bad idea. Might be time for a little break, watch some TV. Let's see what it throws. Oh, hey, the Dino H level 50. I need a discount, like I need a kick in the... Yeah, we're definitely not doing Le Mans. I think that's where we'll call it good. Let's take a roll through the pages. Maybe somebody else can figure this thing out better than I got it. If so, I have a community page. Post those pictures. I'd love to know what I did wrong. For now, we're pretty much maxed. Everything here is totally juiced out. Everything here is, well, we can put our flywheel back on. That'll fix all the problems. Platform and handling, everything but ballast. And I usually don't do the racing brakes. No tires. We got them funky steel wheels. Drivetrain is built all the way except for sport diff instead of racing. No aerodynamics. Engine swapped it to the 3.7 V6. Positive displacement supercharger. And then tuning. It's all guesswork. This is what's worked for me in the past, although my tires are a little less than I normally go. But these mid-engine cars, man, they 355 on the gearing. And all my alignment things, I think it might be needing a little more toe in the front, or a little less. Something. It needs something. I usually don't even put these adjustable roll bars on there. Spring rates. Running lower dampers than normal, just because weight transfer killing this car. And I'm honestly thinking I'm going to take that brake pressure down another couple notches the next time I drive the car. I haven't played with the diff. It was at 49 when I bought it. And my steering wheel set up, because why wouldn't you? And this is on a TSX Racer Thrustmaster. If it works on a controller, let me know. I've been asking that question constant. Somebody let me know if this works on a controller. If not, once again, I got a community page, man. Post some pictures of how you set up for a controller, because I have no clue. Alright. Curiosity's got the better of me. I gotta see what the community's done. I gotta stop this. Reach that point in my life where my head's starting to hurt. Well, of course somebody's done the Marlboro Gulf. That's actually a pretty sweet job. If you like the racing stickers and whatnot. I'm more of a natural kind of look to the car. I kind of dig that a little bit. Rusted out paint job with the racing stickers on it. That's pretty clean too. For certain. We might put that one on it just for the moment until I figure out what I want to do with it. Hugo Boss. I've heard that name before. All the rest are just straight racing. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to go with this little clean looking black and silver. I don't know what it says on top. It doesn't let you see. Hopefully nothing dirty. But it'll let me know that this car drifts. Because I got too many cars set up for drift. Performance on the side. I like the way they did that. Especially the way they made those lines follow in the back. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. I still think Ferrari was trying to copy Porsche. Or maybe Porsche was copying Ferrari. I don't know. Got a little bit of that 4GT look in the rear end. I'd like to see the top view, make sure we didn't put something on there that shouldn't. I think it probably says performance there as well, but who knows. You're going to give us the top-down view? It did. And it blurred it, but I do believe that says performance, which is fine. At least with it blurred out a little bit. We maybe won't get in trouble with the YouTubes. Oh, that looks a lot better on this page. Much more gloss to it. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Well, if y'all dig it, there's a button down there for that. If you want more of it, there's a button down there for that. If you hated it, don't press that button. That button hurts me. Till next time.